everyone, welcome to The Buzz. I'm Jackson.
And I'm Lorelai, and man are we so excited. It's finally summer.
It's finally over.
Finally. We're done with school for a while.
Finally, amen to that, man. I was done with school like 3 months ago, maybe even before then. But it feels so good to not have anything due.
But you know what I've noticed?
What?
I'm still in my school mind. Like, I know I don't have any schoolwork due, but I forget, and then I suddenly get worried. Like, wait, did I do that assignment?
I should be doing something.
Remember a second later that I don't have school.
It's like a sense of deja vu. Yeah, I think all of us start to feel that. You know, it's something that like all of us experience, and it doesn't go away until like right at the end of summer, like right before school starts again.
Never-ending cycle.
It never stops. It never ceases. It really is, you know, until we graduate from college. But I mean, maybe then it would just continue into like work. Bummer. Anyways, today we have on the show Dale Latino as part of our local artist spotlight segment.
Dale is an audio engineer who owns a recording studio called DPL Unlimited.
No AC, formerly the Happy Little Trees. The Family IS music department formed, actually had the honor of recording a live stream over at the studio, and let me tell you, that was an awesome experience. Seriously, it was so fun. If you're interested, you can actually go see the live stream on our Facebook page, and it's on YouTube as well. It was awesome working with Dale then, so I'm sure I'm going to enjoy talking with him today.
We are also doing a special Young Member Artwork Spotlight.
Very special.
So stay tuned for that as well. And of course, Toby's Friends.
Hey y'all, Megan here with today's Toby's Friends. This is Cooper. He's a Belgian Malinois mix, and he came to take Paws after his previous family moved away without him. He was on the skinny side of 45 pounds, but now weighs a healthy 70 pounds. But don't let that big size fool you. He's a huge sweetheart. He loves other dogs and would best do in a house with other dogs or by himself, since he also loves attention. He enjoys car rides and is always ready for an adventure. It is suggested though that he has a home that has a nice backyard with a tall fence. He can jump high. If you're looking for a good big goofy boy who will become your shadow, Cooper is the one for you. If you're interested in adopting Cooper, check him out at takepawsrescue.org. And that is it for today's episode of Toby's Friends.
We are so excited to have Dale Latino on The Buzz with us today, with me, who I'm going to talk to. I'm excited. Anyways, so, local town spotlight. Mr. Latino, or if you prefer, Dale.
Hey.
Dale?
Yeah.
Mr. Dale. We learned that you are a musician as well as a studio audio engineer.
Mm-hmm.
We would like to talk about being a musician first, as it is kind of like a thing that we do. You know, what kind of instrument or instruments do you play? Do you write your own music?
Yeah, I started out when I was 7 years old playing drums. It got too loud for my parents, so we traded that for a guitar.
Then that got too loud.
I played that for a few years, and then I went back and forth with the drums. And in high school, I took a piano 1 class in the 9th grade.
Just on a fluke?
Just on a fluke, just as an easy credit. Best class I ever took in my life.
Oh, so that was like the awakening.
That helped me put it all together, as far as, you know, wanting to write songs and learn songs on the keyboard that I really couldn't figure out on the guitar or whatever. It just helped me learn music more. And, you know, after that, I just bought a little recording machine to write songs, write ideas. And
then you bought a little more.
Then I bought a little more and a little more.
And a little more.
You know, 40 years later, I have a studio.
And then you bought a house.
Yeah, it all comes with it, you know. It's a thing that you do in life, so you don't really pay attention to, you know, what I want to be. You're just being yourself. And, you know, when it comes to playing music, you try to get better. You want to be better. You want to sound better. So you want with buying equipment and
express yourself in a more meaningful way.
Yeah. So, it's a life's journey. It doesn't stop until you stop.
So, speaking of music, what music do you prefer to play? That's kind of like a niche thing for a lot of people.
Ooh, that's a hard one.
Is it like the mood? Is it like...
I'm more willing to play any kind of music if it's with good people and good musicians that put off a good vibe and put on a good show.
I feel like it's a lot of the vibe.
It can be heavy metal, it can be gospel. If it moves the people and I see the musicians are working really hard at it.
And they're like in it, and I'm like, yeah, sure, why not?
Then, that's the music that I like.
I feel like I get that kind of same thing with the things that I like to play. I'm like, oh, I like the way that this sounds. I wonder if there's a way for me to do this on guitar or on trumpet or whatever I think about playing on.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of people actually feel that same exact way, especially me. Have you always had a passion for music? And how long have you been actually playing music?
When I was a toddler, my dad had a disc jockey set up in a bedroom, in the house.
Oh Lord.
And so I was born around 8-track tape players, turntables,
house full of music,
big speakers. My mom had a jukebox, and so there was always music going on.
Just you sleeping in the crib, heavy metal going on in the next room over.
It was mostly country and rhythm and blues,
so
stuff like that. She was into Elvis, he was into Willie Nelson, and I ended up being into Kiss. So years later, when it started evolving with me, I found that
apple doesn't fall from the tree.
All music is all the same. It's all pretty much a good chord structure and good positive vibes.
Really, you realize you had a knack for it, for understanding it?
Yeah, that's where I think the recording end came up, because I was always around equipment.
That makes sense.
Speakers and everything, and recording.
Me, I've always been a classic rock fan because my dad was a rock head, like grew up around rock and roll, loving rock and roll because he was that rebellious teen type, which is so hilarious to say considering who my dad is. But and I feel like that really rubbed off on me, and now I have a much greater appreciation for how things were done, but a much better understanding of how things could be done better and how they have been done better as time goes on. I can't imagine not playing music. Like, seriously, especially during the pandemic. Like, I would be insane by now without music. It's insane. You're also an audio engineer, as I understand, with your own recording studio called DPL Unlimited, which is a super cool name, by the way. So we imagine you see many young musicians in your studio, I imagine, right? Well, what advice would you give those young musicians who want to have a career in music?
And I've told this to a lot of young musicians, a lot of young vocalists and artists. The music comes to you naturally, and you're probably already taking classes for it. Take a business class. Learn the music business, dude, because the music comes naturally. But how do you own your stuff?
Oh,
how do you promote your stuff?
Okay,
they don't
that's
teach you that in guitar school.
That's like owning a car and having the manual on how to fix different parts and repairs.
And if you go to school for it, you get a leg up on those that don't. So
I'm pretty smart.
When it comes time to be business-like in front of a record label or artist promotions, you're going to be business-like because you're going to talk the same language.
I never thought of it that way.
Yes. The school, the business school for music is what's missing in a lot of really great artists. You hear a lot of the older artists from the 50s and 40s who had their music stolen from them and stuff. Well, if you go to school, you learn how to not let that happen and to be able to hold on to your rights.
You learn You learn how to protect your music
learn
while
how to
producing
protect your
it.
music while producing it, exactly. You own it. So when there's residual income, it comes to you. You get your fair share.
And it encourages you to do more too.
Right.
A lot of good.
You're gonna do music. Learn how to protect it.
Yeah. That's actually a really good piece of advice. I never would have thought about that.
And
I
that
really
goes
never
for
would have.
artists that paint, draw, knit, or whatever you do. That
You're a
you
writer.
if you're a writer, you create
Especially if
poems.
you're a writer.
Learn how to copyright it. Learn how to publish it. Be your own self-publisher.
Talking about school and education and protecting yourself, did you go to college? And if so, what did you major in? And how has that actually helped you with your current career?
That's a funny story. Talk about a left curve.
Interesting. Please do continue.
My dad worked in printing for most of my life.
Lord.
And he got me into printing, running printing presses and stuff like that. So when I graduated high school, I went to a community college in Charlotte, North Carolina, where I lived at the time, and I took the graphic arts classes, learning how to work with film.
Oh, that's cool.
Prepare jobs for the printing press. And at the time, they told me, they said, come in here, we want to show you this new little thing called Photoshop 1.0 on a Macintosh computer that looked like a shoebox. And
wrote
literally would hit save, go have a cup of coffee.
Come back, still not be done.
Yeah, it's save. But I learned Photoshop, and that I had no knowledge that it would help me in my career today.
Wow.
But what happens when you record a record?
There's like
You need art.
Yeah.
You need art.
Yeah.
So
And with
I
that,
learned how to design.
literally anybody, even if you don't have any artistic skill, can do something with that.
You can, and there's enough tutorials out there to teach you, and
The basics
you can-
plus more.
Yeah, you can take a square box and make it into something artistical.
Three-dimensional, bro.
Yeah, so that's what I took in college, and that's how it's helped me in my music career.
That's pretty funny. Just like you're like going on your coffee break, you're like looking about what time my next class starts. Hey, dude. Yeah, come in here. Come look at this. Come see real quick. Yeah, it's called Photoshop. You're not gonna believe it. Watch this. Square, bro.
Yeah, it was because at the beginning you would take a photo, and like if you wanted to put text across it, you'd have to type it out, print out the text,
And then stamp it
then paste it
manually
on the photo, and then take a picture of that,
and then send it off, and then have that printed, and then have another thing done to edit that.
Right. So they showed me the next step up, and I learned it, and just haven't stopped learning.
And Photoshop was like, yeah, done. With a few more steps in between, of course, and about 7 coffee breaks.
Yeah. There was a lot of people made their career off of cut and paste. Cut and paste,
Yep.
You know what cut and paste is on a computer?
Yeah, exactly.
It's literally
Cutting and pasting.
and pasting into a document for like a newspaper.
And they used to do that in the old times, where they would take like Word, like actual documents, and snip bits of information out to like put on a page for somebody writing an article, so they would have the information available, or like the entire quotation in text, and they wouldn't have to go look at it. It was just like a transition from in the flesh to in the pixels.
Right. Everything had become digital. It was like right at the turn of the digital age that I got into, the graphic design.
Cool.
And it was probably one of the best things that happened to me.
Actually, talking back about audio engineering, what actually made you get into audio engineering? Like, was it a spark?
I got together with a friend when I was about your age, and
Dude, look at this.
we wrote a song playing the guitar and keyboard, and a microphone.
Oh, garage band buddies.
Yeah, we were just hanging out, and we wrote this little country song, and I took it to a recording studio. I looked in the phone book, and I found one, and
oh wow, you were taking it pretty seriously, huh?
Yeah, I wanted to go record this song professionally, and the guy told me, he said, son, let me explain something to you. He said, you're not prepared, you're not ready for a studio. Go buy a 4-track recorder and get your ideas down at home before you come in here and waste a lot of money
and a lot of our time
and not get something that you're really happy with. So
that's cruel but fair.
Yeah, I spent $400 on a 4-track recorder, and I already had a keyboard and a guitar, so I learned that tool, and I was able to make my drum beats with the keyboard and the bass line on the keyboard.
Yeah, that's fair. Keyboards are very useful.
And vocals, so I was writing songs. And then when you run out of tracks, you buy a bigger piece of equipment, an 8-track.
And then you buy another one.
You get a computer that goes along with that.
And soon enough, you're $1,400 in the hole.
Yeah, you know. But it's, like I said, it's a life's journey, so...
Quick question. Did you ever go record that track professionally at a studio, or did you end up doing it yourself?
I ended up doing it myself.
Yeah, I knew it.
You know, recorded it probably 4 or 5 different times. You know.
With just playing with it, playing with different ideas?
Well, that and technology, you know, I recorded it, you know, with one technology, and then years later, as I developed skills in the digital...
Let me try this again.
Try it again.
Give it another shot.
Yeah, so...
Another go.
You know, the songs could be 25 years old, but they're brand new to somebody that's never heard them.
Fair, true. That is very true.
Yeah.
They could also be brand new to somebody who hasn't heard them in 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about your profession, what is your favorite thing about it?
The favorite thing about having a studio is I get to hear songs that nobody else has ever heard before.
Oh, that's fair.
And somebody comes in and records something, and they put their heart and their soul into it.
You could be the only person to ever hear it.
I hope not.
I hope not.
I hope that they get it to the masses, but you know, in that moment, hearing something that somebody wrote from their heart and it's recorded, it's magic. You know, there's no feeling like it, and I feel privileged to be able to do that. You know, have people trust me with their work.
That does sound really, really cool. That is very cool. Okay, so one last question, and this is a question that I absolutely adore and that we ask every single one of our guests on the shows. We get a lot of really cool responses. We got a lot of intriguing, funny responses. But the question goes, if you can go back in time to the age when you were 16 and give yourself one piece of advice, what advice would you give yourself?
Rebel.
Straight up. Mom, Dad,
yes.
I don't want to be a graphic designer.
Right, I don't want to run
I want to be an artist.
I'm a musician.
My boy.
You know, when you're 16, you can afford to live off of a meager salary. But that's the best time to learn.
Yeah, that's like when you learn the ropes.
You know, when you
can experiment with a lot more stuff.
50 and you have a family, you can't really
do those
things. So
risk it for the biscuit.
Yeah, if you're 16 and you have this in your heart, this music or art, do it, pursue it now.
Also, I couldn't see somebody following in the family tradition of being a print presser.
Well, printing used to be a noble profession.
Like blacksmithing?
Yeah, you know, there's not that many people that do it, but the technology has changed to where the money, the salaries have gone down. So, that's, and my dream has always been the music. So, I've had to work and put myself in a position to where I could transfer over from a career to this career, and it took a lot of paying off bills, bringing your cost of living way down to where you can start a business. And that's with any business starting out,
Yeah.
you have to really be able to work for
And
less
put a lot of time into it.
and work from the heart.
To build up a reputation, and then start climbing those ladders and start getting them raises and things.
Yeah, you build a business with your heart, and the finances come. But if you're always chasing money, you're going to always be chasing money.
And you're never going to be able to stop and actually establish yourself or improve upon what you've already established.
Mm-hmm.
Fair, very fair. And I feel like everybody needs a little bit of rebellion every now and then, just because.
Yeah, and I'm not saying
Need to
go out
push
and break
sometimes.
the law or push your family totally away, but just be a little bit selfish and say, hey, this is what I'm comfortable
I don't
with.
enjoy this, but I do enjoy that. I want to pursue that thing that makes me happy.
Right.
Understandable, very understandable. And honestly, though, I think that time as a print presser with your father listening to Christian Catholic country music in the other room and you in your crib actually did you a lot of good.
I think it made me push to pursue my music more so because I have a lot of friends who grew up, their families pushed them into music, and once they became adults, they didn't really care for it that much. So by me, being pulled away from it, kind of made me stay passionate about it, and it's almost like a rebellion or resistance. I'm going to do this, do or die, and
Make or break.
Yeah, make or break.
Also, your dad sounds like a super cool guy, just working on a press while listening to country music in the other room. Anyways, it's just thank you so much for coming on the show. For one, just taking the time out of your day to come on the show and actually do this interview with us. For one, I appreciate it. For two, everybody on the buzz here absolutely adores it very much. I loved hearing your stories, and I am absolutely waiting for you to come back again.
Well, I can't wait.
Absolutely.
If I could ever, be of assistance, or you need me to do whatever, don't hesitate to call.
You got it. I'll keep a foot in the door for you.
Sounds good.
It's been great talking to you.
Same here. Same here. Can't wait for y'all to come back to the studio and play.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We will be back.
Do that.
No, wait, see.
As we mentioned before, we would like to do a very special Liaya member artwork spotlight. And it's special because it's going to be about one of us. It's actually the first one we're doing with a theater member. Today, we're spotlighting Megan.
Wait, what? Are you seriously going to do it without having her on the show? Really?
You didn't let me finish, and now you kind of ruined it. Thanks, Jackson.
You're welcome.
Megan, why don't you come and sit next to me while we talk about your time with Liaya?
Yay, Megan.
Thanks, Jackson.
You're welcome.
Oh my gosh, I thought we were talking about one of you two. Not gonna lie. You guys are more experienced than me, but why are you spotlighting me?
Well, because you're an awesome Liaya member, and we're going to... Okay, you're off camera. You can stop talking now. We're going to talk about your artwork, which happens to be theater, and more recently, creative writing. You deserve to have a spot just as much as any other member.
Well, thank you. I'm flattered.
Now, Megan here joined Liaya back in 2018 and has been part of several productions in Liaya's theater department. She was part of a performance Liaya did called Dear World, where the members performed monologues that were sent to us by people around the country. What was your monologue, Megan?
I think the name was What I Want to Be When I Grow Up. It was about that. It was kind of about that topic.
Interesting.
And rambling on about it, but it was fun. Rambling, yeah. It was fun though.
Sounds fun. After that, her very first stage production with Leia was The Murder of SS Yaya, where she played Daisy. Can you tell us a bit about Daisy?
Daisy was a very interesting character, nothing like How I Am, which was fun to do, and it helped me expand my range, if that makes sense, like of acting, step out of my box of comfort zone. She was an audience member who was vacation and went to the show. She was immediately suspicious when the murder happens and sticks her nose in everyone's business. She spread the rumors around tries to figure out who the murderer is. She ended up pulled up to be in the magic act and accused the wrong person of being the murderer.
She sounds like a lot of fun to play. Very, very fun character to act out.
She was.
Megan then went on to play in Seeing Beyond, where she played the lovely Levie, the assistant to the awful host of the show. How was she to play?
Levie was one of my favorite characters. She was a fun and elegant character. She wore this beautiful blue dress and assisted in the tricks the host performed. She, along with other co-workers, didn't like the host because they were horrible, but she was too afraid of them to say much about them.
The hosts were awful. They were so bad.
She ended up keeping the audience calm at the end when chaos happened with the teleporter and the alien.
That was me.
And the attack, and she became the next co-host of the show.
You know, I realized as you're explaining these roles that anyone who hasn't seen the show is probably very confused.
True. I imagine especially about the alien thing.
Yeah, it's a confusing show if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
If anyone is curious, you can actually go watch this performance on Louisiana Young Artists and Young Authors Facebook page, where it was filmed Facebook Live. And your next performance with Leia was also performed via Facebook Live since COVID hit and we were unable to perform it in person and we had Zoom rehearsals and all this stuff. It was insane. It was a great experience.
That was a great experience.
This play was Wonderland, and you played Mandy/Tweedledum.
Yes, and while we had to perform it a different way, that was still a very fun play to do, and the performance was great. What's the word? Like, the rehearsals on Zoom were amazing. They were funny, especially when people's mics and cameras didn't work.
I remember being so hot back there when we actually did the show.
And the makeup,
our faces off.
And the makeup kept on not falling off, but like wiping off. And you can also watch it on our Facebook page. Mandy was very conceited and competitive with her sisters, who were always trying to outdo each other. She, along with them, were very obnoxious. As her counterpart, Tweedledum, she was a little bubbly, and like the other Tweedles, a bit of an airhead, which I can kind of relate. We all have our moments.
Of course.
They feared the Red Queen, but when she was gone, she would gossip behind her back and talk bad about her.
And with every single performance, you became a better actress. And even went on to perform in your school's production of Beauty and the Beast.
I did. Once.
For a day.
Well, once. That may.
And then COVID happened.
Yeah.
And after that, we went on to do The Buzz, where you host everyone's favorite segment, Toby's Friends. I think we can all honestly say that we've all improved with each episode. And Megan also just joined creative writing, and we have no doubt that you will excel in that as you have done in theater. I can't wait to hear some writing from you.
You will soon, don't worry.
Looking forward to it. Well, that concludes this Leia Member Artwork Spotlight.
You know, I really enjoyed that Leia Member Artwork Spotlight. It was actually very enjoyable. I think it was enjoyable for all of us too. It's just fun to go back and like remember the productions that we've done, and Megan's done quite a few with us, you know? I remember all of them. Man, they were so much fun.
I remember the two that I was in. I just joined when Sing Beyond began, and then I was in Alice in Wonderland.
As small person.
I was Alice.
Small person.
I was Alice, which I had a great time doing stuff. Even though COVID kind of put a damper on it.
Yeah, but I mean, we'll start doing live productions soon, which I'm very excited for. I also had a really great time talking to Dale today. Thank you so much, Dale Latino, for coming into the studio today and doing an interview. It was great, and we very much hope to see you again. Maybe No AC can do another live stream at your studio, maybe sometime, like next summer.
Well, I think that just about wraps up this episode. I hope everyone enjoyed
already
it
over?
as much as I did. Be sure to keep an eye out for the next one. I'm Lorelai.
And I'm Jackson. We'll see you around the hive.
Bye.
Bye now.